G'day guys and welcome back to the JFBS SuperCoach channel. And today we're going to go through the players that should be at your end of season midfielding 8. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me in today's video. So what I'm trying to say is how should your midfield structure look like at the end of the season? I talked about the defenders one last video, so go check that one out. You can go check it now or check it out after this one. But there wasn't really much to talk about. So, and in the sense that not many players to go over, I'll be honest. I'm sure there'll be one guy that really goes above and beyond, which would definitely happen with the midfield group as well. So I'll start off with the players that I've got in my team, and I've forgotten already because it's one of these. It's one of Brayshaw and Anderson. Brayshaw and Anderson. I meant Brayshaw and Dawson. I've got Dawson and I've got Ed Richards. So the reasons why I've gone with these three is because everyone knows about the whole Port Adelaide Butters thing. Great schedule, first off, no early buy round. Not going to go into much more detail because everyone knows already. Same with Dawson. Dawson doesn't have the early buy. So I kind of will take that as well. And I just went with Ed Richards because you kind of need a bit of a pod when it comes to your starting here. Like 0% of people got George Hewitt. From Ed Richards onwards, 2% with Dunkley, and that's it. So that's kind of my reasoning behind it. I know he has an early buy, and I feel like he'll do because he had a bit of a breakout season. SuperCoach wise, we've all known that he's been a great player. And I reckon he'll continue it. And I feel like at 111 average, I'm fine paying up 600K for Ed Richards there. So that's why I've gone with those three, really. But at the end of the season, how does your team want to look like? Well, obviously everyone wants to get Bont. Everyone wants to get someone like Nick Dacos. Noah Anderson as well, Andrew Brayshaw. If we have these guys here, that's a pretty solid team there. And there's so many options you can go with. You can go with Hugh McCluggage, Matt Rao, Bailey Smith, Josh Dunkley, Hewitt, McCallaghan. 14% of people go with Callahan. He had a really strong end to the season last year. Liberatore, there is a reason why 0% of people go with him. I think he just gets... well, he didn't actually miss a game last year. I was going to say he gets injury prone, but I thought he missed... maybe the end of some games because he was just a bit crampy. I'm not sure. But you still got Holmes, Green, Heaney, Miller, Merritt. Merritt and Neal I don't think will be good options. You got Sarong, who I think he might have a bounce back here, which would be nice. Goulden as well is a solid option. You got Sam Walsh potentially could break out and average 110, 115. Will Ashcroft as well with Neal, declining. Jai Coldwell if he gets a good run of games and not getting injured. There's so many options. There's 28 people, really, that are solid options for your midfield. So there is no wrong answer. I can talk about each one individually, as if you want, which we might do. Okay, I didn't want to click on Anderson, with all due respect. So... we talk about Butters, Dawson, and Richards. Bont is just Bont. He averages 130 last year. There's no way we can, what am I trying to say? I think that he should be on everyone's team. He will have he will take his price to around 620. That's the only thing. So just be mindful of that. But to be fair, he's gone 151, 174, 169 against GWS, Adelaide, and Essendon, which is great. But then if we looked at last year, is this last year's? Yeah. He can take its price to about 620. It actually got down to 568. That's pretty insane. Yeah, because he scored a 66, 177, then a 63, which really did not help. And then when he just went on a massive run at the end of the season, just killed it. So he can fall to that price, but also it's got to be good timing. You've got to probably make a sacrifice, even if you can't think of a trade for him to come in. I think you just got to get him somehow. He's arguably, he's in my opinion, the best player in the AFL. So you've got to get him into your teams at some point. Hubert Cluggage is interesting. I think he's going to get more tags now. Now that Neil's, kind of taken a step back with his off-field issues, I don't think he's going to play as much this year, Neil. That's just from an outsider's perspective. I don't care if he's still training or not. I think they're going to try and give some more opportunities to some other guys, play Neil in his third grand final and ship him off. But Hubert Cluggage is now the guy at Brisbane. So what is that going to mean? It's going to mean more tagging opportunities. And I think he plays Sydney first. They've got Jordan there and St Kilda. They've got Windhager. Collingwood don't. North don't. Melbourne don't. Yeah, so it's just that first game where I feel like he might not score as much for you. And it's going to be the same with Rao, reigning Brownlow medalist Rao. I think he's a solid option, but he's going to be the number one tag option at Gold Coast. There are so many players you could tag at that team. But to be fair, his first 3 games, Essendon, which won't count, unfortunately, West Coast, Melbourne. Why does it come up with Richmond? Oh, because that's 2025. Sorry, excuse me. West Coast, Richmond, Melbourne don't tag. Sydney do. Essendon don't. I don't think Hawthorn does. I might be wrong. GWS, I think they do. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Potentially. Potentially. No. Yeah. It's a bit too inconsistent. There's not a nice run of games, for example, like a Butters who's going to play like 4 games in a row where there's no tag options. Bailey Smith is going to be the same thing with McCluggage, Rowell, and co. I think it's just, I like the point of difference with the 6% of you going with him. I just don't know how. I think he's going to have a couple drop-off games. I have a feeling that he's going to have a game or two where he just goes, yep. Not me. It's not me. What was the? I mean, he started at 389k and he got to about 630. Then he did go down to about 520. So I can definitely see him getting down 100k, which is really nice. So it's all about timing. Nick Dacos is kind of similar, but he evades tags, which is really, really good. Josh Dunkley is a nice pod for you, I think. He's more on the defensive side. I know he averaged 114.8. But he just has some games where he just scores an 80 and it's a little bit deflating to look at that, I'll be honest. Like, look at St Kilda, 90, an 82, 100. Collingwood, a 96, and 83. Like, it's just, these are games, like the 173 off the bat and everyone going for him at the start was really nice. But yeah, had that 83, 80, 88, 83, 100, 109, which is fine, but it's like, you got him at 618k, is it now is it 521k? Once again, the 95, 72, 76. So, look, he does have a floor, like an around 80, which can be deflating, like I said, but not a bad option, I'll be honest. Noah Anderson, I think I want him in my team at the end of the season because they've been experimenting, I've heard, with him in Match Sim, playing him as that Max Holmes kind of role, where he starts in the midfield and then he'll rotate to half back and then still come up to the stoppage. And then he'll also rush back when a behind is scored by the opposition team. He'll go back and he'll take the kick-ins, which is super duper nice for Anderson. So I think he'll stick at this 115 range. I think I would want him in my team by the end of the season. Andrew Brayshaw, I am tempted to bring him into my side as well. I think it's like, if I could, excuse me, I'd have these 4 on my team. So, look, we can't wish for everything, but I think Brayshaw is a definite option for you. Already talk about Jordan Dawson. Surprised only 0% have gone with George Hewitt. Maybe it's because of the resurgence of Sam Walsh and people are going that route, but I feel like he might still average well, but maybe not 112 good. I'm thinking maybe 105 I know that's only 5 point difference, but it is in this game because that gets you down to 570. So he's losing you about 30k. Finn Callahan, a lot of people are going with. I don't mind the option. I'm just uncertain on my end because, I don't watch much Giants games, but his end to the season, which I saw people highlighting, was unbelievable. 106, 134, 137, 106, 145, 194, 144. Whereas at the start, when everyone had him, with that 144, everyone was like, yep, let's get him into our side. 104, then he didn't play because of the bye. Then he just went 55, 72, 82. And that's when, like me, I think I got rid of him after 82, and he only had one sub 100 game. I hope that said that right. One game where he did score 100. So that's very frustrating. That was very frustrating for me. And I didn't really take much notice of that, actually. But decent option, 14% with gone of him. I don't mind it. Just once again, timing. He had that 3 game stretch where he did score like above an 85, 90. So just be aware of that. Tom Liberatore, I just wouldn't go near. He's a year older. I feel like his tank is worn out from last year. Based off memory, you can tell me if I'm wrong, and I don't mind you guys telling me if I'm wrong, but I just felt like that there were some games where just cramping, and it was just like midway through the year, towards the end of the year as well, where you're like, there's injury concern for Tom Liberatore, and then he plays the next week, and it's the same conversation each week. Might have been 2 years ago I'm thinking of, but look, there's a reason why people haven't gone with him, and that's okay. That's okay in my opinion. Max Holmes, I had him in my defence last year. Now he would have been a top 6 defender if he was still had the DPP there with mid defence. But yeah, basically 111 average, 600k on the dot. Very nice. I think. What am I trying to say? Like he's a really good option, and it's probably a point of difference option when the main people are going to go Bont, Butters, a guy like McCluggage, Dacos, Anderson, Dawson, Brayshaw. Like these next 3 guys in Holmes, Green, and Heaney are just a little bit of a different point of difference there. They can. The only risk that you're taking is their floor is obviously a bit lower than these guys' floor. If not, it's probably similar, but their ceiling, actually, what it is, it's probably their ceiling is probably not as consistent as these top guys up here. But Heaney, 3% of people go on Heaney, which is interesting. I like that. I'm not going to do it to myself, though, just in my opinion. Toot Miller, I'm going to tell this 1% of you guys, I probably wouldn't go with him because it just seems like they're pushing him out of that midfield now that Petrarca's come in. And obviously, like, they've really got to they're doing a lot of experiments over the preseason, which is fair enough because they're bringing in a big name in Petrarca. And it seems like that he's been playing predominantly midfield and then going up forward. So probably be around 70, 80% midfield, 20, 30% forward. Miller probably getting in, but there's so many mouths to feed in that midfield. You've still got Anderson and Rao that we have not talked about, but then you've got Bailey Humphrey and I saw Alex Davies as well. Other Gold Coast midfielders that would try and crack into that centre bounce appearance team. It's just so hard, and I think he's going to go down in price, unfortunately. Merritt, I'm going to stay clear from him. 2% are going with him. If this was this time last year, you're probably going, that's not a bad option. But just him wanting to go to Hawthorn, he's stepped down as a captain now. I don't think he's actually going to change in the sense that, how he performs in that. It's just like you don't want to take that risk. It's going to be the same with Neil. You don't want to take that risk of, off-season stuff has happened. So I'm not going to trust it, that's for me. Sarong, I think he'll have a bounce back year. I reckon 110's fine. If the tag is going to be pretty even between Brayshaw and Sarong, I definitely can see his average going up. I think he was tagged a bit more often than Brayshaw last year, hence why Brayshaw was averaging 114. But yeah, Rosie, I talked about him in defence. Errol Goulden, I really like. I really like Goulden. At the start of the season, I really liked Ashcroft, but there's a reason why I didn't go for him at first. But we'll go back to Goulden. Goulden, 105, just under 105, 566. His ceiling is high, and he is untaggable. Geelong tried to tag him, was it last year or the year before? And he just like blitzed through them. Um, oh my God, he went down to 496. What am I trying? What was I saying? Okay, so his floor was around like his 90s ish, which isn't too bad. Could I have a look at 24? Because that's a not an interrupted season. An average of 108. A little bit. I think I'm talking about this game here. This was, I don't know why I'm thinking of this game, but I remember he played on the wing, like his obvious position. And they tried to tag him, and he just was killing Geelong. So he was like, at that point, people were going, oh, well, Nick Dacos is basically untaggable. Here comes Errol Goulden. He could also be untaggable because of his endurance. But yeah, 33%, that's a pretty high amount of people going with Goulden. I don't mind that, but it's just the early buy in the first round. Jack McRae probably would go. And the last couple I'll talk about are these three here. So Ashcroft, Caldwell, and Walsh. Out of the three, I can definitely see Walsh being at your M8 or your M9, M7 at best. If he can get if he's got an interrupted preseason, which he has so far, he hasn't got any injuries. It's going to be the same with Caldwell. If he can get through preseason really nice, I don't think they're bad options at 545 and 543K. It's just, I think it would be, if I was to power rank this, Walsh, Ashcroft, and Caldwell. I think Ashcroft's averages will go up a little bit. But you've also got to remember, if you want to go budget, like you don't want to go with the Brayshaw, Dawson, and Ed Richards route where you're going, I can save 60K and go with those three, then that's an interesting way to put it, because like the only thing that you're upgrading is potentially you're only upgrading a late, maybe a second or third round pick rookie to a top 15 rookie. Doing that three times, or you're doing that to get another premium in like defense or forward, or even in your midfield. So I don't think it's worth it, because I feel like, in my opinion, I think Caldwell would be definitely a trade out at some point, and I think Ashcroft could as well. There's a lot of mouths to feed at Brisbane, especially in that midfield. So I think the smart idea, which is I think this is a smart idea. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the smart idea is that you want to go for guys that you think that are untradeable. So I think, for example, if I have these four at the start of this season, Butters, Dawson, Richards, and Brayshaw, I think they're going to be untradeables by the end of the season. So just start with them. You're going to be saving a trade. 3 out of the 4 of them don't have an early buy, whereas, the Essendon plays early in the season as well, don't they? Yeah. They might not, actually. I'm going insane. They did last year. Maybe that's where I'm getting mixed up. Yeah, sorry. But if you look here, Walsh will get an early buy. Ashcroft is getting an early buy. Goulden, he definitely can get to that M6 or 7 area, but he also has an early buy. But then you've just got better options, in my opinion, going with those guys instead of them. Because who knows, they might average 105, 100, and you're going, that's perfect. But at the start of the season, you could have picked one of these 4, and they're averaging 15 more points than those guys. It's probably, you're losing about, a couple of 100 points just based off that. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you guys understood what I'm trying to say. So let's have a look at what my end of season team will look like. This is what I want. You go Bont, Butters, no matter what. I'm already starting with Butters. I would go with the guys I'm already starting with, actually, which is Butters, Dawson, and Richards. I'd love to get Bont. Love to get Dacos. I think everyone gets Dacos. Anderson, Brayshaw. And then you go for a guy, you could potentially go for a guy like Goulden here as a bit of a pod play. Could be a Tom Green, which would be not a bad option. I've already used 5.7 mil, which is amazing. Point of difference. I don't like these three, I'll be honest. It could go Callahan, which could be an interesting one, or Holmes. Like those are probably my top 9. I'm not a big fan of Green, actually. We could go Heaney. I think that would be my personal top 9 there. I'll be honest. You can definitely swap it out for a guy like Sarong. Trying to think. Like Green, Hewitt, if he continues his good form, I guess. Dunkley, definitely an option. But obviously you've got Bailey Smith, Rowell, and McCluggage, but I think they're the most taggable options on each of those teams. But I think that's good. That's what my team wants to. That's what I want my team to look like at the end of the season. Obviously, I'm not going to afford these three on the bench, but if I can get a guy like Goulden at my M9, that would be pretty handy. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on some of these guys and some of my comments that I've made on them. I don't mind that if I'm wrong or right, or it's just an opinion. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on this as well. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you guys have a good one. And I think I'll see you guys next time. I will see you guys next time. Cheers.